In this video I'm just going to show you how you can create a sort of radial zoom burst effect in Photoshop CC 2014, but same approach for also earlier versions as well. Now I'm going to be using shapes from Graphic Extras and also available on the andrewshapes.com website. That's my site as well. Okay, so these ones are Dash's designs. Now if you haven't actually got these or don't want to purchase them, obviously you can create some sort of design, and quick easy way of doing it. And I'm not going to do all of it because obviously it just takes a bit of time just to quickly do this. Rounded, and the best way to do it actually is in Illustrator. Photoshop's probably not the best way of doing it, but Illustrator is much better. And if you've got a tool called Mirror Me from Astute Graphics, even quicker. Right, rounded rectangle tool, that's the first thing. Use it as a shape and fill, and what you just do is just create that. Key thing is to duplicate that layer. So I'm just going to duplicate that layer, and now I'm just going to go over to Edit and Transform and Rotate. And what I want to do is actually position that at the center. So what I want to do is have it pass all the way around. Now, I'm just going to set up an angle for it, so it's 20 degrees. So you can have it sort of nice uniform value, 20, but you don't have to have it uniform. Of course, you could vary it. You could also transform the size as well as that if you wish. Just, you can make it totally uneven. I'm just going to use a regular all the way around. So you just basically do that. Just click there, and then you can obviously just duplicate that one, duplicate layer, and then transform again, and so on and so on. So you've got it all the way around, forms a quick circle. Now, once you've actually done that, you can just go over here and you can select all those designs. I'm just going to just select them that way. Direct selection tool, all selected, and then you just go to Edit and Define Custom Shape. So you've actually got the design there. Right, once that's actually done, then you can use the shape. Now we go back to the start point, right back to the start. And I'm just going to select the custom shape again. And first thing to do is create a new layer. So layer, new layer. I want it on the layer. And I'm going to go for blue first. I'm just set that to blue. And just going to apply it roughly in the center. Yeah, just there in the center. So you've got that design. Now, of course, that's a layer as well. Wasn't going to do it that way, so I'm not going to approach that way. So new layer, I'm just going to go back, set that to pixels. I don't want to actually do it with layers. Just going to go with pixels. So it's onto a standard raster layer. Now, what you can do, you can just go to Filter and Blur, Radial Blur. And here's the radial blur. I'm going to set for the zoom option, not spin. I don't want to go for zoom. I'm going to go for best. I'm going to center it obviously approximately at the center. Yes, looks like center to me, and just basically apply. Now I'd love to see this feature actually added into the blur gallery. You think it would be a real ideal item for the blur gallery. So, it takes a few seconds to produce that. So you've actually initially got that sort of thing. Shows it wasn't exact in center. That's slightly uneven because you can see the thing. Anyway, next time, layer, new layer. Just create a new one. And now I'm going to go for green, and I'm going to apply it basically over the top of that, just sort of a line in there, much as I can. And of course you could use maybe a different shape. You don't have to use the same shape. You can maybe make it thinner designs. There's lots of different sort of thin designs, dot designs, and of course you could create even maybe multiple designs. So you could actually have sort of red and green and just layer it out further. Anyway, for this, just going to now go to back again to the radial blur, and radial blur, and maybe reduce it down a bit. Doesn't have to be exactly the same, so it produces it again. So you could create many different color combinations just by using these dots, and the radial blur. So it takes a few seconds. Tutorial always seems to take longer than actual just running it, and it's 1,000 by 1,000. Doesn't have to be. Obviously, you could maybe with a smaller document as well. Right, so you actually can move that around. You don't have to position it exactly in the same position. So, and now I'm just going to finish it off. I'm just going to quickly create a new layer, and this time I'm just going to go for red. Just go down to red and apply that to a layer again. And like I say, you can vary. You don't have to have the same strength each time. So I'm just going to go filter and blur, radial blur, and this time maybe reduce it slightly. So it should be slightly quicker. And so once it's just done that, and of course you could move the centre. You don't have to actually have the centre in exactly the same position either. And again, you could move those around just slightly and maybe have it in the centre. Click OK, and there you have. You've got a design. And of course you can select all those. I'm just going to quickly group layers, and of course you can then use the Alt key down there and duplicate those, and maybe make duplicates of that. I actually don't have to move it. I can actually maybe even reduce it down. I'm just going to create layer, duplicate. That's what I wanted, and then just drag that across, and you can sort of create multiple coloured designs. You can rotate that around. You can also, of course, combine it with maybe blending modes as well. They're just layers, so you can just basically set the layers and apply normal, obviously, lighten, overlay, etc. to create many different interesting colour effects. I found this